Hello humans, it's just Martine, and today we're doing a 48-hour readathon with my friends again. Whoop, 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 whoop. I've got a lot going on in these next few days, just a lot of homework that I need to do, really, but a lot of things that I want to read. So yeah, it's Friday morning and the readathon in my time starts at like 2 p.m. So I've been doing work all morning, figuring my life out and stuff, but I'm going to walk you through what I hope to read during these 48 hours. I've got my handy dandy board right here. I don't want to get to all of these. I'd just like to clarify that. So the first thing that I'd like to do is I'd like to finish Stalking Jack the Ripper. I'm listening to the audiobook right now. I'm a little more than 40% of the way through. And yesterday I had such a relaxing time sitting and listening while I was coloring. So I'd like to continue that some this weekend. That would be good. I also want to read the entirety of Boyfriend material because I want to avoid what happened with Dune last time, because this is also a library hold, but it's a more recent one. Additionally, a stretch goal is for me to finish Among the Green Grass Fields, I think is what it's called, the new Wayward Children Series book by Sean and McGuire. I also am listening to the audiobook for that. Yeah, those are stretch goals. I don't really anticipate that I'll finish those things, but here's to hoping, and I'll check in with you when the readathon starts. It just hit 2 o'clock. I was late. I needed to make an emergency cheeseburger delivery. Now we're reading the last 10 pages of this chapter in my textbook for part of our first sprint. Because I wanted to finish it before this, but then stuff happens. It's 2:15, I finished my textbook chapter. Time to sit down with my ambient room and read. 45-minute sprint done. I finished that textbook chapter like I mentioned, and then I read the first 33 pages of Boyfriend material. I can see where the setup is going. There are elements that I really like about it. There are other elements that I'm like, about, so we'll see where it goes. Just finished a second 45-minute sprint. I was listening to my audiobook for Stalking Jack the Ripper, and I got to 59% before I was somewhere in the 40%, and I was working on coloring this in. All good things. Nearing the end of the third sprint, I've been having heart-shaped gobstoppers because they're amazing. You cannot convince me otherwise. And I got to page 81 of Boyfriend material, which is about 20%, and it's 4:40 right now, which means that in a few minutes I'm going to leave for dinner. No more reading will get done before the end of dinner. It's just about to become 6 o'clock. I got back from having dinner with my sister. I had a sandwich for dinner. I got rained on some. Super fun things. Now, I'm hopefully going to call Harris, take a shower, and get back to reading. Squeaky clean. I'm gonna read soon. Might watch one YouTube video first though, because my brain needs to warm back up after the cold shower. I just finished reading Stalking Jack the Ripper. It's 8:30. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Basically, I thought it was pretty basic, like nothing too special about it, nothing too crazy. I have to wonder if my rating was at all affected in either direction by the fact that I happened to get spoiled for the ending of this book. I forget how, but it happened. In some ways, of course, that could have hampered my ability to enjoy it because maybe the twists didn't seem as twisty. However, in some ways, I think it actually made it more enjoyable for me because I got to see all the foreshadowing and had this great sense of dramatic irony the whole time. Thought it was still really interesting to see, okay, if it ends here, like what path is Carrie Maniscalco going to take there, you know? So it was good, but not my new favorite thing. So 3.5 out of 5 stars. One of my goals for the readathon, down. I'm taking a short break right now to watch some YouTube videos and chill since I just powered through the end of that book. But while I was listening to the audiobook, I did finish coloring the page I was coloring. So I'm gonna flip you around. I'm gonna show you.
I'm super proud of it. I think it looks great. Yay. It's 9 o'clock, which means time for another reading sprint and also a small bride.
I'm reading Boyfriend material. I'm 26% of the way through, and I have to say at this point, the main character is just okay. Quirky, but like kind of in a cheesy way. But you know what? The love interest, I love Oliver. I love him. I also kind of wish I was listening to this on audiobook so that I could hear the absolutely obscene number of times the characters say verisimilitude, but in a British accent. It's a word I didn't know before. I sure better remember it by the end of this, because it's a thing, and I like it. So, this last chapter that I read, chapter 14, I was like enjoying it fine before, but this chapter 14 elevated it. It has been elevated. My heart is beginning to feel once more.
new days dawning, new heart fluttering. I just had a moment that I'm like, maybe a little too embarrassed to share, but I also think it's kind of funny, so I'm gonna share it anyway. So I was just saying goodnight on Discord to all of my friends who are doing a readathon with me this weekend, and I went to plug my computer in, and just out of my soul came this song that goes, I love my friends. That was it. I sang it, and then I was like, was that embarrassing or was that endearing? A little of both, but then I wanted to share, so. Good night, I'll read more tomorrow. Good morning. I have woken up to the slightly alarming news as a person who lives in central to southern Florida that although the feels like outside was 90 yesterday, which was a little too warm for me, but still, it's 52 out right now. That is a lot of drop. That is quite a bit of drop. It's a little cold out right now. Granted, I told Bailey that, and she was like, it's -6 outside right now. And I was like, yeah, but it's just past 7:45. I've been watching YouTube in bed. Now I'm going to get ready for the day, and then hopefully I'm going to read for a bit before I meet up with my sister to do a 5K walk, not run. I do not run. She's fundraising or something, so for this walk, and I agreed to join her. That will probably be all the moving around I do today. And then I'll read for the rest of the day. Maybe do some homework here or there. Haven't fully decided because like I've done all my stuff that's due Monday, so I might just give myself the weekend off, but we'll see. I'm pulling up an ambient video. I have about 45 minutes to get some reading done. Let's do it. You know how some things are just so out there that they're hysterically funny? I'm reading boyfriend material, and if you've ever read this, then you know. I just read the Miffy short for Clara scene. So good. It's 10:10. I just got back from my 5K walk with my sister. It was the perfect temperature outside for a walk. We walked for a total of 1 hour, 8 minutes. Went a little over 5K, so I'm feeling good. Now I'm ready to sit and read. See if any of my other reading friends are up. Oh my goodness, I did squats yesterday and I just felt that badly when reaching for my computer. All right, let's do this. I'm at 49% of the book. It's good. It's 11 o'clock, which means it's about my lunchtime. I already went on a 5K walk this morning, so I don't really feel like leaving to go to the dining hall. I also want to get some reading done. Additionally, I checked the menu and there's literally nothing good at the dining hall. I don't feel like a sandwich. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make beans and rice, dorm edition. I just drain the beans and then I put them in the microwave for like 2.5 minutes. Then I have my minute rice in there for a minute, mix it together, and I add Nando's peri peri sauce. I'll eat it with some tortilla chips.
Lunch is served.
It's 11:30, beans have been consumed, leftovers packed away. Going to get back to reading as I sip on a Coca-Cola. I'm just past the 60% mark and something big just happened and I have no idea what's going to happen next or what's going to happen for the rest of the book. And honestly, it better be good because I was considering giving this a 5 stars and this one scene brought it down to 4. I was like, no. I think the main character has potential to actually change, like he was changing and then he did something and was like, I'm sick of you, no, but I think he's going to change again. I was going to make it better, but this middle issue felt a little weak for me. I'm at 75%. They actually handled that thing that annoyed me way better than I thought they were going to. I'm liking this book a lot. It's so good. It's 2:18 p.m. I just finished boyfriend material. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. The reason I'm not giving it a 5 stars because I loved the characters, I love the story in general, was because there were 2 specific moments of conflict, one which I mentioned earlier and one right near the end that I just thought were too much. First one, it was like an absolutely dramatic overreaction that shut down all of the character development that had happened in that character so far in the book. And again, they handled that pretty well, but I was still annoyed it happened in the first place. And then the second thing seemed out of character completely for this other character to do. And so, although it logically makes sense that it happened, that wasn't the vibe I was getting from the character. And so I didn't like that decision was made. It felt like just have a last minute conflict to resolve. Everything else I loved. There were so many weird and specific characters that you thought would be cringy, but were just really enjoyable to read about. The banter was good. Loved the love interest. He was awesome. I appreciated the character development that happened in the main character. I liked that not everything wrapped up happily because I think that's just more realistic. I won't say which parts of the plot or subplot weren't resolved happily, but at least something didn't fall perfectly into place, and I appreciated that. And it was a fun read. A little long for a romance book, over 400 pages, but I got through it between yesterday and today, so no real complaints there. It's 3 o'clock. I just took a break from reading to edit and upload tomorrow's video. It's a short one, short but sweet. Yeah, now I need to figure out what I want to focus on next because I have my Shauna McGuire audiobook that I could listen to, but I'm not sure if I'm in an audiobookish mood right now, but I might be. But part of me is like, if you listen to an audiobook, then you should have something to do, like color or something. But also in my mind, I'm like, kind of just want to starfish on the floor and look at the ceiling. So I'll keep you updated as to what occurs. It's 4:47. I just finished Across the Green Grass Fields by Shauna McGuire. I gave it 4 stars. It was interesting. I always go into the Wayward Children books not knowing like what type of character we'll be following, but it is always interesting. This, I would have to say, is not my favorite in the series just because I don't care about horses, but other than that, it had some like very meaningful representation. There was a point to the story. It was short and enjoyable, so I liked it. Now I'm going to go get dinner. I can also definitely appreciate the fact that I finished all of my specific reading goals that I told you by the end of hour 27 of the readathon. That's exciting. I've done a lot of reading. I've also done pretty much nothing else today. That's not true. I walked that 5K and I edited my video, but aside from that, I've only been reading. It's 7 p.m. My hands are so cold, but I just went to the first in-person event of the semester with Student Life, and it was outside with like our masks on and stuff to be safe, but it was like we had a DJ come and she played songs, and for each round there were 10 songs. You had to name the song and then the artist of the song, and if there were 2 artists to get full points, you needed to name both. And then for the second type of round, you had to finish the lyric. 2 times I ended up in the top group and went up to do things to try and earn a prize. But both of my times, that extra step was knowledge-based. The one time I didn't get to go up, it was just based on like the energy put into a like lip sync, and I would have won that. But because the other 2 were knowledge-based, I didn't win that. But because of my passion, I was awarded a prize anyway. So I got some new headphones. But most importantly, I had a really great time. Now I'm going to try to warm up a little bit, hopefully catch up with Harris, and then check to see how my friends are doing with their reading, and maybe read some more tonight. But I sure need to charge my phone, so I'm gonna do that first. I needed some help figuring out which book to focus on next. I took a break, watched some YouTube, New Girl, talked with my family and such. But I have 3 books that I've technically started. And I kind of want to start a new book, but I also kind of want to work on the books that I'm already working on, right? So I asked for suggestions in our group chat about how I should handle this situation. Ashley had a great suggestion for the 3 books I'm in the middle of. She said, roll a dice. 1 and 2 is for the first book, 3 and 4, then 5 and 6. The anthology is going to be 1 for me. My sci-fi book is going to be 2, and then my self-help book is going to be 3. So let's roll and see what happens. No. Cool. So it gave me 6, which means that the self-help book is the one I'm going to go with. Part of me really doesn't want to read that right now because I've been feeling emotions for the last like 20 minutes or so, but that might actually help. So sorry, Nicoletta really wanted me to go with the second one, the sci-fi book, but I'll at least for the next sprint be working on this self-help book that I'm reading. So, and it's 8:42. We're gonna sprint again at 9, and honestly that will probably be my last sprint of the night. Now that I think about it, it's getting late, which maybe doesn't help feeling emotions, but that's what we're gonna do. I just did one 50-minute sprint of the self-help book about emotions. I'm really enjoying it so far, like really enjoying it. I was taking notes. Like, yes, I did some of the same things that I do when I'm reading a self-help book where I take a screenshot that I'll never refer back to. But for some things, they were so good that I wrote them down. Interested to see if I ever try those things. But it at least gave me something to think about. And now, since it is rapidly approaching 10 p.m., I need to get to bed. I'm so tired. Today has been a long and full day of reading. Over 6 hours of dedicated reading time, so that's awesome. Hopefully, sometime during the morning tomorrow, I'll read the last about 2 hours that I have of this self-help book, and I'll have a successful readathon with 4 completed books. two of which I had some varying percentages of read before the readathon started, but still awesome. So my problem going into this was that I felt like I was reading all these books, but I wasn't finishing them, so it's nice to finish books sometimes. So I'm going to get ready for bed, and I'll see you tomorrow for the last little bit of the readathon. Good morning. It's Sunday morning at 8:57 a.m., so almost 9. I just threw my laundry in. This morning, I watched like 4 episodes of New Girl. I'm now on season 7. And while my laundry's in, I'm about to get some reading done. Do you like my shirt? I love this shirt. So I'm going to sit there and listen to music for a bit while I read about emotions. That's really all I have to report. So I've spent my morning reading and doing laundry, and now that it's almost 11, it's time to go to lunch. It's 12:40 p.m. I just had my call with my family. I had finished lunch, so I'm gonna read the last 40 minutes of this book that I'm reading. It's called All the Feels, and then I'm gonna wrap up this vlog. Let's do it. It is 1:24 p.m., so a little more than half an hour before the official end of the readathon, but I'm calling it here because I just finished reading All the Feels by Elizabeth Lang Thompson. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. You can check out my review on Goodreads if you want to know some more about it. So I surpassed my goals for the readathon. I wanted to read the last 60% of Stalking Jack the Ripper. I wanted to read Across the Greengrass Fields. I wanted to read boyfriend material. I did all that, plus I read All the Feels, so I feel really great about this. It was a fun weekend. I had fun reading. Now my eyes are tired though. Yeah, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below. Do any of these books sound interesting to you? And subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!